Quartet 3 album review. Let's chat about it. Hey friends, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this latest album from UK-based composer, electronic artist, and real icon of the more electronic side of things over the last 20 years or so, Mr. Kieran Hebden. He has been at it for years and has been very prolific in the electronic world, whether it be more ambient stuff or folktronica. IDM and Downtempo as well. The man has done it all, but I do have to admit, still, his early days were a little shaky. His dialogue debut, I've just never really been that big of a fan of it. But shortly after that, we got the breezy folktronica of pause and the very meditative breaks, and instantly I began really warming myself up to Kieran's music a lot more. Albums like Everything's Ecstatic, my all-time favorite there is Lovin' You, and also that really underrated whimsical Pink compilation that Quartet put out. All of these albums just made him a go-to for me in modern electronic, and at the time I was still doing a lot of writing, and a lot of Kieran's stuff at the time was soundtracking it. Now, since then, I have been a little bit more shaky when it comes to Quartet's music. Like Beautiful Rewind, for example. I've personally always thought that this album just was a little bit too heady for me, and morning and evening are certainly pleasant while they're on, but I can't tell you the first thing about them. However, that New Energy project that Kieran put out a few years ago, I thought that was really cool. That brought back a lot of the enchanted nature and the mystery of his early works. In 2016 Oceans, it was alright, it wasn't anything exciting, but I certainly didn't turn it off. Now, early in 2021, we got two releases from Quartet. First up, we had the 871 compilation, which, man, was I let down by. God, this thing was an absolute mess and should have just been stayed locked up. But while long-winded, I thought that Parallel, on the other hand, had a lot of really interesting ideas. They just needed to be pared down quite a bit. Now, it's been a while since we've heard from Kieran in a new album stance with, brand new, fresh material, and it's always something I'm going to be curious to hear. But leading up to this project, I really started to get very excited because I thought all three singles just showed Kieran in a really great headspace and just putting out some really creative stuff. Let's chat about this thing. The album starts off with Loved, and personally, I think this track is a hell of an opener. I love the beat that we get here. The drums are a really nice touch that are pulling from Kieran's hip-hop production that he's done over the years. And those glorious synths are just simply majestic. This is a hell of a sound for just, waking up. The patience here is commendable, and I'm loving all of the styles that are clashing in front of us. Because we do get a lot of very whimsical ambient on this track, but we also get a lot more noisy and kaleidoscopic and colorful elements as well. It's perfect for just putting on, laying back and tuning out. Then we have Gliding Through Everything, and this track just brings in some really super chilly Microhouse. We have a lot of that on this album. That's not a bad thing. And yeah, this track is definitely on the more ambient side of things, but Quartet really does it a lot of justice. It's chilly, but it's also very colorful, very engaging. It's got the sense of wonder and discovery of Kieran's best material. And while, yes, a little bit more abrasive than I'm used to hearing from Quartet, it's still very easy to take in, especially in the second portion where things just go from, sort of chilly and microhousey to simply stunning and kaleidoscopic. There's some genuine, neo-psych vibes on this track. I mean, for me, while absolutely not reinventing the wheel, this is just Kieran showing us a good flex and putting out some good music. Storm Crystals, on the other hand, is very tastefully, kind of chilled out, laid back, down-tempo. It's a serious vibe to get lost in, too. Kieran does it a lot of justice. The playful synths are super sweet on the ears, but he also brings together some of those great production tricks of his and gives this track such a vast sound. I mean, this track as a whole is practically 7 minutes of Kieran's production tricks, but it comes off like a real, serious journey. It's beautifully textured, it's alive, it's colorful, it's engaging. I'm just really happy with the sounds that we're getting here. Daydream Repeat, on the other hand, is a little bit of a banger, which is something that I didn't know I needed right now, but yet here we are. I mean, it's still very much a Quartet banger. It's very pensive. It starts slow. These instrumentals pop in one by one. It's whimsical. It's sweet. These bubbly synths are just so charming. And once again, it's just another very dense but very colorful and really super personality-filled, engaging electronic tune. And also, once again, I should stress, a lot of these tracks are pretty long. This is another plus 6 minute track, and it does not overstay its welcome. It's also pretty experimental for Kieran because it gets pretty noisy and harsh at times. It comes out really nicely though. It's another track that's just very easy to escape into. Now, if I did have to choose one big blemish on this album, it definitely would be 631. Now, if I did have to choose one sort of big blemish for this album, definitely be 31 Bloom. This is one of the busier and headier moments on this album. And listen, there's a lot going on this track, and I salute that. That's cool. You know, Kieran's at the point in his career where he can do whatever the hell he really wants. But this is the first time on this album where the fact that we're not getting anything wildly new that Kieran's never done before is really glaring in the face. And for a couple of minutes, it's just really boring. But I don't know about you, but outside of that, this album is just giving me all them good vibes. Like Skater, for example. Where are my vaporwave heads at? Where are my chillwave freaks at? Come look at this. I mean, this definitely could be just a me thing very easily, but something about this track just rubs me the right way. I love the MIDI synths. I love the sort of throwback, those N64 synthesizers that we get here. It's a vibe. And listen, if this style of music wasn't your cup of tea to begin with, it's not going to help. This track ain't going to do anything. But for me, deep cut of the album. As far as the more ambient side of this album goes, look no further than So Blue. I mean, the last few tracks have been so busy. This track has a sort of subtleness to it that's actually really classy. And eventually, when that subtle beat does plop in, it actually gave me the chills. Plus, hearing Kieran go for a more laid-back sound, try a little something else, flex those muscles a little bit, and kind of nail it, it's just, makes me happy. And 3 drums as a finale is so slick, so cool, so groovy. The strings are just so hazy and surreal and hard to place. Don't even get me started about when the strings pop in. It's immaculate, it's sweet, it's tender, it's perfect for a chilly spring day. And in a lot of ways, Kieran just, in his own way, sums up a lot of the themes and sounds of this album. And once again, this is not a short track. This thing's over 8 minutes long, but it really does keep my attention. This is a really solid work from Kieran. He doesn't do too much outside of the box as far as trying a new sound or two, but as far as a little bit of a recap, breaking down a lot of sounds that he's already used, but doing it in a really classy, really refined, and really modern way, and just flexing some muscles a bit. I don't know, something about that really works for me, and a lot of the sounds that he works with on this album, I just can't get stuck out of my head. They are really freaking cool, and this album, I think, is one of the better ones that Kieran's put out in some time. I'm feeling a very strong 8 on this album, but let me know what you all think down below. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.